Intro. Cornel West Philosopher 3. Subtle signs. She's secretly falling for you. Most men miss this. There's a quiet truth that runs through the heart of human connection. One that Cornel West often reminds us of. Love is not a transaction. It's a transformation. It is not about control, not about perfection, and certainly not about possession. Love, in its truest form, is the courage to see and to be seen, to recognize another soul beyond masks, beyond the noise, beyond what the world teaches us to desire. And yet, most men miss this truth. They chase signs instead of meaning. They count messages instead of moments. They analyze her words but miss the quiet language of her soul. Today, my friend, we dive into something deeper, something that goes beyond surface attraction or fleeting interest. We're talking about the subtle signs, the quiet, unspoken moments that whisper, "She's falling for you." Cornel West once said, "You can't lead the people if you don't love the people." In love, too, you can't truly see her feelings if you don't first understand what love means in her world. So in this journey, we're going to explore 3 signs that most men miss. The kind of emotional signals that reveal something real, something raw, something deeper than simple chemistry. Because love isn't just a feeling, it's a philosophy, a way of being. Let's begin. The silence that speaks. Cornel West teaches us that authenticity is the foundation of any real relationship. That we find truth not in loud declarations, but in quiet integrity. And the first sign that she's secretly falling for you is often hidden in silence. When a woman starts falling for you, she doesn't always say it. She doesn't rush to confess. Instead, her silence changes. The pauses between her words begin to feel warm, not awkward. When she's with you, the quiet doesn't feel empty and it feels safe. Most men misread this. They think silence means she's bored or distant. But no, silence is sacred when emotions grow deeper. It's the space where connection breathes. She may look at you and say nothing, but her eyes linger just a little longer than before. She may sit beside you, scrolling through her phone, but her body unconsciously turns toward you, her knees angled, her shoulder brushing yours. Her laughter just a touch softer when it's you who speaks. This isn't coincidence. It's comfort. It's trust. In a world where everyone performs, silence becomes the stage of authenticity. Cornel West reminds us that tenderness is what love feels like in private. When she starts to let her guard down, when she doesn't need to fill every moment with chatter, when your presence itself becomes enough, that's when she's falling. Not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. So, if you ever find yourself sitting in that peaceful quiet with her, don't overthink it. Don't feel the urge to impress her with clever lines or constant talk. Just be there. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. That silence, it's not emptiness. It's trust speaking without words. And that, my friend, is the first subtle sign that she's falling for you. The curiosity of the heart. The second sign that she's secretly falling for you is in her curiosity. Cornel West often speaks about the examined life. That to live fully, one must question deeply. When a woman starts falling for you, her questions aren't random. They're windows into her emotional curiosity about you. She begins to wonder about your pain, not just your plans. She remembers your stories, not just your successes. She asks about the meaning behind your choices, not because she's nosy, but because she's invested. You'll notice it when she asks how your day really was and waits for the answer. You'll see it when she remembers small details. The song you mentioned once, the story about your childhood, or that dream you said felt impossible. She holds on to those fragments like pieces of a puzzle she wants to understand fully. That's not friendship. That's emotional interest. Because curiosity is the language of affection. Cornel West says, justice is what love looks like in public. But curiosity? Curiosity is what love looks like in private. It's the quiet research of the heart, the gentle way she studies your soul without a textbook, the way she seeks to understand you instead of just having you. She starts mirroring your values. She listens when you talk about your philosophy of life, even if it's just a passing thought on a late-night call. She becomes interested in what inspires you, your goals, your fears, your struggles. Why? Because love, as Cornel West teaches, is the practice of understanding someone's humanity in all its contradictions. Most men miss this sign because they mistake it for politeness or simple kindness. But if she's genuinely listening, if she remembers things that even you've forgotten you said, that's not coincidence. That's connection. She's not just interested in you. She's invested in your becoming. She's rooting for your growth not because she wants to fix you, but because your story has started to matter to her heart. When her curiosity shifts from, "What do you do?" to "Who are you becoming?" that's when you know she's not just intrigued, she's emotionally falling. The vulnerability behind her strength. Cornel West reminds us that to be human is to be vulnerable. And when a woman begins to fall for you, her strength doesn't disappear, but it starts to soften. The third sign is when she lets you see the tender parts of her, not out of weakness, but out of trust. In today's world, many women wear their independence like armor. They've been taught to protect their hearts, to never rely on anyone, to stay unshaken no matter what. But when love quietly begins to bloom, that armor loosens. She doesn't suddenly become helpless. Instead, she becomes real. You'll notice it when she starts to share her insecurities, not for validation, but for connection. She might open up about her fears, her past, the people who hurt her, or the moments that shaped her. It's not about drama, it's about honesty. It's her way of saying, I trust you with a part of my story. Cornel West calls this the courage to be tender, because vulnerability is not the absence of strength, it's the revelation of it. When she stops pretending to be perfect around you, when she laughs at her own mistakes, when she admits she's tired of always being strong, that's love whispering through vulnerability. Most men don't recognize this sign. They think she's just venting, but if she chooses you to open up to, that's sacred. Because a woman doesn't become vulnerable with a man she doesn't trust. She only shows that side when her soul begins to feel safe in your presence. So when she tells you about her struggles, don't rush to fix her. Don't interrupt her story with advice. Just listen. Be the witness to her truth. Because she's not testing you. She's revealing you. She's showing you who you are to her, someone who has earned emotional access. Cornel West once said, "You can't know love unless you've been cracked open by life." When she allows you to see her cracks, her fears, her flaws, she's not breaking down. She's letting love in. And that, my friend, is the third subtle sign. Her vulnerability becomes her bridge to you. The way she reflects your energy, Cornel West, often speaks about reciprocity, the sacred exchange between souls that defines authentic love. And that brings us to the fourth sign. She begins to mirror your energy. When a woman is falling for you, her emotional rhythm starts to synchronize with yours. If you're calm, she feels peace around you. If you're inspired, she matches your fire. When you're distant, she feels the ache of that distance more deeply than before. This mirroring isn't manipulation, it's resonance. Just like a jazz melody echoing another note, her energy starts to harmonize with yours. Cornel West, who adores jazz as a metaphor for love, says that real connection is like improvisation. Two souls creating beauty in the moment, listening to each other's rhythm, never forcing, never dominating but only flowing together. You might notice small things. She starts picking up your phrases. Her tone softens to match yours. She laughs at your jokes not because she's trying to please you, but because she feels your joy. She mirrors your effort. When you reach out, she responds. When you pull away, she quietly wonders why. That mirroring is not coincidence. It's empathy taking form. It's her emotional body syncing with yours, subconsciously saying, "I'm with you." Most men miss this because it's so subtle. They don't notice the way she texts them back in their rhythm, or how her energy shifts to keep balance in the connection. But Cornel West would call that love's rhythm, the dance between two beings learning each other's tempo. When you start to see her reflect your moods, your pace, your energy, understand this. She's not copying you. She's feeling you. That's the difference between attention and affection, because love isn't about imitation. It's about emotional harmony. So when she starts to reflect your world, she's already building a bridge between her heart and yours. Quietly, beautifully, rhythmically, Cornel West says, music is the soul's attempt to make sense of chaos. When she's falling for you, you become her music. And she tunes herself not because you demand it, but because her heart recognizes a melody it wants to follow. The depth of her presence, in a society obsessed with attention, presence has become a lost art. But Cornel West believes that love is impossible without deep presence. The fifth sign that she's secretly falling for you is when she starts showing up, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and intentionally. Presence is more than time. It's attention wrapped in care. When she's falling for you, she begins to be there in small, powerful ways. She listens when you speak, truly listens. She remembers the tone of your voice when you talk about your dreams. She sends you messages that align with your mood. When you're low, she lifts you. When you're focused, she respects your space. That's emotional awareness, and it's one of the rarest signs of real affection. Cornel West says, love is a steadfast commitment to the well-being of others. And presence is how that commitment begins. When she's falling for you, she's not distracted. Her attention sharpens. Her awareness deepens. You'll feel it in her eyes when you talk. She's not just hearing you. She's reading your spirit. You'll sense it in her small acts. How she checks on you. How she shares things that remind her of you. How she values your peace more than your performance. Most men ignore this. They confuse presence with possession. But when she's falling for you, her presence isn't clingy. It's grounding. It's not about control. It's about connection. She's learning how to coexist with you in a rhythm that doesn't demand attention but offers understanding. When a woman loves from that space, she's not chasing validation. She's cultivating alignment. And that's what Cornel West calls soulful love, a love that listens with the heart, that honors your individuality while embracing your humanity. When she's with you and time slows down, when your conversation feels like home, when her energy feels safe, that's the fifth sign. Her presence becomes her message. And in that message, she's saying without words, I'm here because I care. The sacrifice of small comforts. Cornel West teaches that love is a form of death, the death of the ego. It's not tragic. It's transcendent. It means that when you truly care for someone, your world gently expands beyond yourself. You start thinking in we instead of me. And that, my friend, is the sixth sign. When she begins to sacrifice her small comforts for your well-being, quietly, without wanting credit, you'll see it in her subtle actions. She adjusts her schedule to meet you even when she's tired. She listens when you're frustrated even when she's had her own hard day. She remembers your preferences, the way you like your coffee, the topics that calm you, the music that grounds you, and she offers them back to you without fanfare. That's not coincidence. That's compassion. Cornel West says, love is the courage to care, even when it costs you something. When a woman starts to fall, her love isn't measured by how loudly she declares it, but by how quietly she gives. She's not trying to impress you, she's trying to support you. Her care becomes action. Her affection becomes consistency. These small sacrifices aren't dramatic. They're divine. They are the gentle deaths of her own comfort for the birth of connection. Maybe she drives across town just to see you for 20 minutes. Maybe she stays up late to check if you made it home safe. Maybe she puts her own worries aside just to make sure you're okay. That's what Cornel West calls love in practice. It's love that doesn't need validation, recognition, or reward, because it's rooted in sincerity. Most men miss this. They expect grand gestures, passionate confessions, or endless attention. But love doesn't shout, it shows. It reveals itself in those unspoken sacrifices. Those quiet moments where she chooses you even when no one is watching. So, when you notice her giving up her time, her energy, her peace, in little ways that make your life easier or lighter, recognize that. That's not casual care. That's emotional investment. And if you ever want to know whether she's falling, don't listen for her words. Observe her actions. Because love doesn't always speak through language. Sometimes it speaks through presence, effort, and sacrifice. Cornel West often says, love is justice in private. When she treats you with fairness, patience, and care, and not because she must, but because she wants to, that's when her heart is quietly moving toward you. The growth she finds in your presence. The final and most profound sign that she's falling for you is this: she grows around you. Cornel West teaches that real love is not possession. It's mutual transformation. When someone is truly falling for you, you don't just make them happy, you make them better. When she's with you, she becomes more of herself. She laughs more freely. She dreams more boldly. She begins to heal parts of her that she had long kept hidden. That's not because you're her savior. It's because your presence has become safe soil for her soul to grow. You see, love is not about fixing someone. It's about creating a space where they can bloom. You'll notice it when she starts pursuing new goals, inspired by your drive. When she becomes more patient, more reflective, more confident in her own voice. When she starts to believe in possibilities again, not because you told her to, but because your existence reminds her of hope. Cornel West once said, "To love someone is to see the face of God in them." That means love is a sacred mirror. When she's truly falling for you, she doesn't just see what's good in you. She starts to see what's good in herself, reflected back through your kindness. She feels understood, not judged. Encouraged, not controlled. Free, not confined. That is how love matures. Not in intensity, but in depth. Most men chase validation instead of transformation. They want attention, not evolution. But Cornel West reminds us that the goal of love is not to own someone. It's to elevate both souls. And when she begins to evolve around you, when she begins to expand, to dream, to breathe more fully, that's not just affection. That's spiritual connection. When she's falling for you, her world doesn't shrink, it widens. Her laughter becomes lighter, her confidence steadier, her empathy deeper. And the beauty of it all? She might not even tell you she's falling. She'll simply become more of who she is because of how she feels around you. That, my friend, is the truest form of love. When your presence becomes her peace and your influence becomes her growth. The philosophy of love, according to Cornel West. So, let's step back and reflect on what we've learned from Cornel West and the quiet truth of love. Love isn't about how much attention you receive. It's about how deeply you understand the other person. It's not about chasing signs. It's about recognizing the sacred silence between them. It's not about being needed. It's about being seen. The subtle signs that she's falling for you are not loud or dramatic. They are gentle, human, and profound. The silence that feels like safety. The curiosity that uncovers your soul. The vulnerability that opens new trust. The reflection that harmonizes your energy. The presence that grounds your spirit. The small sacrifices that show care. And the growth that reveals love's highest truth. That to love is to evolve together. Cornel West tells us that love is not a noun. It's a verb. It's something you do every single day. So don't just look for love, practice it. Be the kind of man whose presence brings calm, whose integrity inspires trust, whose consistency earns respect. Because when you embody love in your actions, you don't need to chase signs. You become one. And maybe that's the greatest message Cornel West ever offered the world. That love, when lived authentically, transforms both hearts, not through grand gestures, but through small sacred acts of understanding. So, if you're listening right now wondering if she's falling for you, pause. Feel the silence. Remember her curiosity. Notice her vulnerability, her effort, her growth, and know this. When a woman's love begins to move, it doesn't shout. It whispers. And if your heart is calm enough to listen, you'll hear everything you need to know.